On this episode of Hopeful Romantics, we answer your questions. Welcome back to another episode of Hopeful Romantics with DJ and Denice. How are you, DJ?
It's back. You know what? It's good to be back, but you know what? I'm not used to you leading honest. I'm used to me doing it. So
You gotta be ready for anything.
I'm like,
DJ.
all right. So I'm doing good, Denise. Thank you for having me on the show today. You know?
I'm so happy to have you on your own show, you know? Well, today we are glad to be back and we're answering your questions. But before we dig into your questions, make sure you subscribe to our channel, share with your friends, and guess what? Hit that bell so that you know when we post new videos.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. We're going to answer some questions. It's going to
Yes.
be good. Also, one reminder, if you do have questions you want to send us, how do we get these questions? You're going to go to anchor.fm/hopefulromantics. If you click on that website, you'll see all of our podcasts, but also there's a place to leave a listener voicemail. So if you want to leave a listener voicemail, we'll hear it. If you say, hey, leave my name out of it, we'll do that. We'll honor you. And so
Yes. And most of the questions are anonymous. Now, we just want to say we are no experts, okay? We are just sharing from our experience and what we've been going through, the best of what we know. So we really sharing our lives and how we learned through our relationship. So for our first question, we have you ever taken a love language quiz or a personality quiz?
Well, for me, I know I've read the love language book. We definitely done the personality test. What is it?
The Enneagram.
Enneagrams. I think I'm a 1.
I'm a 3.
Which means I'm a lot to deal with.
No, but it's good because no, go ahead. I'll say my piece.
So essentially, I think it's good because it allows you to understand not only your personality and how you relate, but also your spouse's personality. So there's things that used to frustrate me, when we first got married, but when I got to know, that's how she sees things, that's her perspective.
Right.
And then it helped her understand kind of why I deal with things that way, and it allows you to have grace for the other person.
Honestly, it does. And that's what I wanted to say too, is that it helped us to understand each other. If I knew earlier on in our relationship that he's a 1 and the way his brain processed things, it would have helped us so much. So I just want to say that if you're thinking about it, it is a good test, the Enneagram test. It was even good for myself, to know that I'm a 3, to know how my brain works. But it actually alleviates so much from us too. And also, we actually we shared it with our daughter. And when she read read DJ's one, like, wow, that is how daddy processes things. That is what he does, that's his personality. So it just makes you work with each other better, communicate with each other better, because I can go on and on and on, and my husband is like, get to the point type of person, right?
Like right now.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like right now. But talking about love languages, that really you have to know yourself and then communicate that with your partner. I think in the beginning of our relationship, or just being married, mine has changed from there. Or should
honestly,
I
think Denise has all the love languages. That's all her language. She likes gifts. She likes touch. She likes affirmation. She likes, all the different
quality
things.
time.
Yeah, quality time, and there's acts of service. I believe that's the
Yes.
5. So.
And I think when you know that, it's just easiest for your partner to know that, hey, I love gifts. And it doesn't always have to be, the most expensive gifts, or, the most elaborate gift. It can be just something really thoughtful. I love flowers. My favorite flower is sunflowers. I know that every time he gets a sunflower, he thought about me. So it really doesn't have to be something out of this world. But you got to communicate it with your partner. Your partner has to know. You can't have your partner just guess and smell, oh, I love spending quality time with you. Or what's the other one? Physical touch. Like for me, physical touch is also a big thing, because I love the affection.
You like being touched, girl? I'll touch you, girl, if that's what you like. No.
Well, let's move on to other question, okay?
Let's move on.
What tips and advice could we offer intercultural couples?
Well, we are the perfect people to answer that question because we are
Yes.
intercultural. If you haven't watched our
Yes.
past episodes on YouTube or our past podcast, Denise is from South Africa. I'm
Yes.
from America. And even within that, there's cultures within America, there's cultures within South Africa.
Right.
And so, what advice and what tips we have? I think number one, communication, making sure that
Key.
you understand, right? Because the way I process things may not be the same way she processes things. The things that she
Right.
saw growing up, it's not the same things I saw growing up.
Right. The things that's acceptable for me is not acceptable for him. And it's important going back to that communication, like what I've learned that he does not know. He did not grow up in South Africa. He did not grow up in my household. He did not grow up with the people around me. So how would he know what's important in my culture if I don't share it with him? He can only do that much of reading, but I gotta take his hand and guide him and say, hey, this is what we do, when you see my aunties and uncles, or when you see my mom, when you approach my mom, or when you spend time, with older people, and so it's just really that communication, because he didn't know.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know those things.
And also, I'll add this. I think adding the best elements of each other's culture to your
Yes.
relationship is a nice thing to do.
Right.
So I know that in South African culture, honor is a very big deal, and that's something that I've adopted. Not only it's a kingdom principle that we believe as Christians, but also it's something that's in South African culture that's
Right.
sometimes missing here in America. So for me, that's a big deal, and that's something we incorporate in our marriage. There's things probably in America that we incorporate
Right.
into our marriage and to raising our children. So I think the tip we have
Absolutely.
is communicate, but
Yes.
also learn from each other, hold their hand, take them through the process, and then take the best parts of the culture, maybe leave the bad parts out.
Right,
And that's the
right.
blessing of being intercultural is that you can pick and choose what you want and make
Exactly.
an awesome culture for for yourselves as a couple.
Absolutely, and it's beautiful. Moving on.
All right, here we go.
This is another one. When forgiving someone, somebody asked, when forgiving someone in a past relationship, do you have to see them to forgive them and let go of a grudge?
My opinion on that is no, you don't have to see them. In fact, sometimes seeing them might trigger something else, whether it triggers you wanting to smash their windows or if it triggers you maybe wanting to forgive them and get back in a toxic relationship. So no, you
Right.
don't have to see them. In fact, sometimes seeing them is the worst thing you can do.
Yes.
Now, if you guys have a long-standing relationship and you want to talk to them in person and you can handle that and they can handle that, then okay, but it's definitely not necessary in my opinion.
Right. I would also say it's not necessary unless, again, when you say that you have a good standing relationship or you guys have mutual respect for each other, but it's important not to put yourself in a position where you will feel triggered. I would suggest go to God. Ask Him to help you forgive that person. Ask Him to work in your heart, open your heart to release every hurt the person has done to you. Ask Him to take away the past because you don't want to get back into that toxic relationship again. And you will see as every time you pray for forgiveness, you will let go. But to me, and as somebody that had to forgive too and walk in that, it's not necessary to see them because you will be triggered, whether it's good or bad. Yeah. Right?
Sounds good to me.
Good. Okay.
We're flying through the questions here.
I know. It's awesome. Thank you so much for sending them. We really appreciate it. Well, our next question is, my husband and I both work from home. We all know that we've been, with COVID season, most offices have moved to your house. And so this viewer wanted to know that's true. And, they always find themselves at each other's nerve.
And you know
How
what?
do
This
they
is
deal with
probably
that?
a new phenomenon for
Right.
a lot of couples, right? We know because of the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people, as you said, went to working at home and they're still at home. And
Yes.
so this is probably something that's really relevant to a lot of people right now. So that's a great question. So if you find yourselves getting on each other's nerves, how do you deal with that? Well, number one, I think because you're spending so much more time together, it's okay to have some boundaries even,
Right.
right? When you're
Right.
working, to maybe say, okay, I'm gonna work here, you work there, and kind of take those breaks.
Yep.
but also, making sure that you have grace for each other, knowing that you're spending more
Yes.
time together, having grace for each other. So because they at work, they're used to leaving their pencils everywhere. Now they're doing that at home. Well, you're working from home now. It's not
Right,
like our
right.
home. It's just your workspace.
Exactly.
And then also forgiving, I think, is a key point as well.
Right.
Forgiving quickly, because if you don't, it can have grudges inside your house all day long. So
Right, you'll just hear people smacking pots and pans, for no reason.
no bueno.
Somebody's upset. But I would also say that, if you have a job that you don't have to take a lot of calls and you just really have to prepare presentations or whatever you have to do, maybe go sit at a Starbucks. They
That's a
usually
good one.
have Wi-Fi, wherever they have Wi-Fi. Go outside the house, give each other a break. It's okay, and just go in a different scenery. It also helps, with clarity, clear your mindset. Because when you're at home, it's a lot happening. You guys in each other's face all the time. Go to Starbucks, go sit there. And when you come back, bring your husband and your wife, a coffee, and like, hey, I thought about you while I was there. But it'll actually work better. So if you maybe have Monday and Wednesday and Friday, both of you go work at Starbucks together.
Yeah.
That'll probably help
Also,
alleviate that.
because you make a good case there, Denise. It's also a blessing to be at home together. That gives you
Right.
times where sometimes when I'm traveling on the road and Denise is here, we don't see each other. So don't just see the bad parts of it. See the good parts is that you've been blessed with an opportunity to spend more time together,
Exactly.
more time than typical couples can, because they're out of the house working at least 8 hours a day, sometimes more, plus kids pick up. And so take this time to really invest in each other. Take those breaks
Right.
during the day. One of the challenges with working from home is that people don't take breaks. They don't take lunch breaks often.
Yes,
And so
yes.
take breaks, and maybe you're focused on your work during that time. And then when you come back together during a break, you have coffee, you discuss maybe not even work things, but
Just yourself, when you take that lunch break, when you go on lunch, you don't discuss work with your workers. You discuss whatever you did over
that's
the
a good point.
weekend or anything like that. So maybe have structured, work days. So this is a structured work day. We're not hanging out. You at your space, I'm in my space, but we both take lunch together. We sit together, we ate a sandwich or whatever, and it's like, oh, how's it going? How's your day going? How you tap in, you have so much time to spend. I think, just change your mindset about spending time together at home and just enjoy that time, because you don't know, you might be going back to the office soon. Things
And
are
you're gonna miss that
opening up
time.
and you're gonna miss that time
Yeah.
together. Yeah. Next question.
Next
Okay.
question. Here we go.
If I'm arguing with my husband or my wife, should we give each other space and talk about it the next day, or should we handle it immediately?
That's a great question. So, the way that we do our marriage is we try to base it on the Bible. And because coming from different cultures, coming from different houses, coming from different backgrounds, you're going to have 1,000 opinions, right? And 1,000 thoughts about how you should do things. And so the Bible offers actually a scripture on this topic. It talks about not letting the sun go down on your anger, right? So when you're arguing, not letting the day pass and keeping that thing unresolved. And so
Right.
there is a biblical answer for how to deal with this. And so we try our best to deal with that. And so when you talk about if you have an argument, try to deal with it before you go to sleep. Now, there are probably some cases when both people are just so volatile and so angry that you probably
Right.
need to take some
Right.
space and stop, especially
Yes,
if it's
before you
getting
say
really
something.
right. If it's getting
Yep.
really toxic and really
Right,
dangerous, and just
right.
it's not, you don't have the maturity or the ability to calm down and have a
Yes.
conversation,
Right.
then maybe it's best to use that space. But I would
Yes.
say aim to resolve it that night. Learn to forgive quickly, because most things we argue about
Yeah,
as
it's so
couples,
frivolous, like,
it's
it's just
silly, right?
silly, like,
if you
why?
go back to why the argument started, it's because
Right, like,
you know what, you left your laundry out and you didn't do this. Like,
Why didn't you pick up your sock? Like, no.
right, we should be able
Right.
to forgive that in the same day.
Exactly.
So if we go back to what it's really about and not drag in past arguments.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's a heavy thing, if it's something really serious,
Yeah.
one thing I would say that is, DJ really told me he's one person. He wants to get it over. Let's do it and move on. And honestly, in the beginning, I was like, no, I want to hold it to this. I want to feel like I want to feel. Leave me alone, you know. And I actually appreciate the fact that he's like, no, we're going to talk about this, you know, as hard. Because most times in a relationship, and especially in a marriage, you have to be okay to have that hard conversations, because with those hard conversations, you actually learn, right? And like you said, the Bible says that don't go to bed angry, you know, because you're gonna wake up angry again. Then why? You know, you have to go to bed with love, really. And so I appreciate the fact that he told me, like, no, we're gonna sit down. And then also, if I didn't have the words, or if I couldn't express myself, I would communicate to him, like, I honestly don't know what to say. I know I'm feeling this way. I'm not okay, but give me time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're not angry, you're not bad, and you're not, combative or anything like that. You just give me time. Let me figure out what I want to say and communicate to you, and then we'll talk.
There's one more question I really want to get to. Can I,
Yes, go ahead.
So we have a question from a listener. I just love it. It says, I am an independent woman, and I feel like, hold on now, independent ladies, come on. And I feel like it's a turn off for some guys. Do I need to pretend to be a damsel or I guess not an independent woman, right, in order to meet my prince? Denise, what are your thoughts about that?
No.
Can I set this up though? Back when we were dating, I met you and you were like working for IBM, single woman going after the corporate career.
Yep.
And so I met you that way, and your life shifted when we got married. And because coming to America, you couldn't work right away based on immigration and whatnot. And so you had to shift even your personality. But let's answer this question first.
But I would. Okay, so there's so much to unpack in this question. But what I want to say, like you just mentioned, is that you don't have to act like you're a damsel in distress. Oh my gosh, you need no. Be you who God created you to be, not pompous, not hard, just be you, because God will give you somebody that will love that about you, that will love the fact that you're a go-getter, you somebody that goes out and make things happen, not pompously, really, because there's a time where you can go out there and but I also want to say that in you going out and being a go-getter and doing your things, men loves feeling needed. You have to make sure that, if you meet somebody, you don't give them in your face, like, I am this, I got this and I'm like this and all that. And you know what I mean? No, there's no need to do it. Men will see that. And the right man will be attracted to that and appreciate that and push you even to be better than what you are at the moment when they meet you.
Yeah, because you know what? It makes me think about this is that you can't sustain who you're not, right?
Nope.
So if you try to act fake to
Right.
get this man, or vice versa, say a man is trying to act like he's something different, eventually you're going to have to return back to who you really are.
Right.
And then you're not going to be in a good relationship because your relationship is based on lies. It's based on that false persona. You think you're dating this person, you marry them, or you progress longer in your relationship, and it's someone totally different that you're married to or you're dating at that time.
Exactly.
So be real in the beginning, talk about expectations, but I think you made a great point, Denise. You also can accommodate the person, right? So maybe you are really strong-willed and independent, but if you're in a relationship, guess what? You can't be so independent. A relationship means that you are not independent, but you are interdependent, meaning that you are relying on each other.
Right.
That you means like, hey, I need you, you need me. Now, we are both good in our own. At the same time, we complement each other.
Right.
Like, I need you in this area. Like, Denise has helped me get strong in the areas that I was weak in, and vice versa.
Right. Exactly.
And one more thing I want to say is that over time, we've both shifted roles.
Definitely.
We both had to change. So who you meet today might not be who they are going to be in 5 years from now. Are you willing to adjust, right?
Are you willing to adjust? Listen, just, to be real, I'm a stay-at-home mom. When I moved to the United States, I had to leave the corporate here to become a stay-at-home mom. So if I was like, no, I'm just independent, no, you can't do that. You kind of have to change. And as you keep going, you progressing, you do change and you do fall in love. Because it's like, I heard somebody say there's a new person every time. So you can't stay the same. You know what I mean? So Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
I have fun. Did you have fun, DJ?
I have fun.
Yes, thank you so much for sending your questions. We love answering them. If you have more questions, please send it to us. Again, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Share it with your friends, with your parents, aunties, uncles, everybody out there, okay?
Your mama, your cousins,
Yes.
Pookie and them, everybody. Yes.
And Peanut. No,
And Peanut.
no. No, but thank you guys so much. This is all we have time for, and we will see you on the next episode.